the channel. I'm on my way to work, actually. But I've been sitting here thinking, what can I do for a video for South Dakota? Instead of just doing another video of me walking around, not seeing anything, or having birds jump and not being able to hit them. But so I was like, I'll do one and then pop in some clips here of different things I learned while hunting in South Dakota this year. I guess the first thing I learned is I need to go a little bit later. We found out that if there's corn standing in the field, you might as well keep on driving. They hadn't been combined yet, so we learned that. I think you can see that on the first day. Yep, no. First hunt, that first morning, we went to a place last year, and the corn was standing, and figured it would be okay to go hunt, because 2 years ago I hunted it and it was fine. I actually jumped 3 roosters in that area with the corn standing, but did take a shot at a duck. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking down at Woodrow, and some ducks jumped up. Chris said something, and yeah. Go hunt it up. Come on. Get in there, bud. Woodrow. Woodrow. Yes. I was way out in front of it. I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, I was way out in front of it. And I guess the overall theme of it is pay more attention while you're out there. We had gone.
Watch out! Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Yeah, hold on. We had a hunt where we were walking, and we were driving around looking for a place to duck hunt, and found the pond. Went and found the pond, and we're like, we'll walk and see what it's on it. It had diver ducks on it, but thought, maybe they can do something. We can have some mallards or something come in there the next morning. So we went and walked it, and we were walking, and of course Gus was doing his I want to run in a straight line thing, and he didn't catch the bird. Bird was in some of the green stuff. It jumped. Woodrow came running up from the back, ran by it, and it jumped. And when I saw it jumped up, I don't know why. I mean, a lot of times I'll call hen when I see a hen, but I don't call rooster, and you get better calling roosters. But Chris had a shot at it, but he couldn't tell because the way the sun was, I guess, that what it was. And if I'd have yelled rooster, we'd have got one there. And then not 5 minutes later, Buck and Woodrow and me, Chris takes off with Gus, and Buck and Woodrow and I walk down, and I'm looking at this spot for a possible duck hunting spot, and I got a pretty good picture from it. But there was a rooster in the cattails, and I'm sitting there looking off to the left, our right and seeing how we could use this spot as a duck hunting spot. Rooster jumped up and
Woodrow. Oh shoot! Gus! Who? Gus? Yeah. Woodrow ran right by him. There's a rooster. There's a pretty good little spot right there.
I took a shot at it, but by the time I got up on him, he was behind a tree limb, and I shot anyway, even though I knew I probably wasn't going to hit him. But yeah, I took out that tree pretty good. And then, I guess, you know, the next morning we went out, we duck hunted. I filmed some. But I mean, the only thing that really came in was the diaper ducks, and they never came in close to the decoys. So, kind of learned a lesson there with trying to duck waterfowl and pheasant hunt on the same trip. It's a lot of work to walk all the decoys in, all your stuff in, set it up, you know, before light in the dark, and then hunt for 2 hours and kind of not see anything, or even if you did see anything, it's just a lot of work to just go out there for 2 hours, pack it all up, haul it all back in, go back in, change clothes, and then go pheasant hunt. So we only duck hunted one morning, you know, just kind of said, okay, well, I'm the only one that really likes to do the waterfowl stuff, so it'll be best just to focus on pheasant hunting. So learn that, figure something else out for duck hunting, waterfowl. Then we went out that afternoon, and Gus was doing great. I mean, we walked this one spot, and he went on point, and he held it. I mean, I knew something was there. I walked over to him, jumped up. Of course, it's a hen, and another hen.
Hen! Good boy! Good boy, Buck! I mean, Gus! Good boy! Woodrow! What's up?
Then I'm pretty sure Chris said it was a hen. It looked like a rooster to me. It was far closer to him than me, but he ran another one down in that same area. Then another thing I learned on that is, I don't know what Gus's deal is. He does it takes him. That's what I'm gonna work on, doing something to hopefully they do better next year. But Gus it takes him a couple days to figure out what we're doing, and then if you don't, it almost seems like if you don't shoot anything around him, he starts hunting for himself, and he starts running big, and jumping stuff, and getting too far out in front. It's constant on the collar, on the whistle, on the collar, on the whistle, trying to keep him around. I will say Woodrow did great. He's 8 months old. Wasn't really expecting much from him. He stayed with me, listened to me. Unfortunately, we didn't get him retrieved. We didn't get anything. He did hear some ducks one time. I had to call him back. It was on a piece that wasn't in the walk-in hunting area that we were hunting, and he heard them suckers down there making noise, quacking. He was off. I'm gone. You know, it was kind of funny. I called him back, but he did good, and he still needs work. I mean, he's not ready. I tried to let him hunt some with Gus to where let him run with him a little bit, but he'd get in the I want to play mood and just start chasing him around. So I'd have to call him back to walk next to me. But actually the last day we hunted, because the very last day of the hunting trip, it rained all day, and the grass is really tall this year, so we really didn't want to go out there and get soaked from head to toe walking in the cattail and the stuff. But the last day that we hunted, we went to this one field. We were trying to get into it the day before. There were some people there, so we didn't go, and we went somewhere else. But we went in there, and
Police reported ahead.
I don't know why I did it. You know, kind of wanted to just walk without the camera once, you know, just like, I'm not going to take the camera this time, because I'm kind of superstitious sometimes, I guess. I do it every once in a while when I'm fishing. I've done it before when I'm fishing. I take the camera, don't catch anything, don't take the camera, and I hammer them, and it's weird. But so I was like, I'm not gonna walk with the camera this time. And while I was loading up the dogs that morning and everything, I totally forgot my Benelli SBE3, and that I'd been hunting with all week. I had my one of my over-unders in the truck, so it wasn't a big deal. I was just like, I'll hunt with it. I'd taken it out once before. I think I took it out the time whenever, and I don't have the camera on it, but I took it out when Gus pointed those hens. But I went and was like, okay, I'm going to hunt. I'll just hunt with this other gun. I'm not going to turn around and go back and get that gun. We actually went back for something before this hunt, I think, and I totally forgot it again. But if I would have had that gun, I probably would have taken the camera that I put on my hat. But I didn't. So I went and I got up. We started walking. We didn't hunt buck much this year. Buck's 10 years old, so I was kind of keeping him on easy hunts, easy walks, just enough to get him tired. But I didn't want to run him every time. Woodrow went pretty much every time. Gus went every time, unless it was just Chris walking by himself. And Woodrow didn't go with Chris either. But we went into that field. No one was there. Got in and started walking. I mean, and Gus did his normal. I'm going to get way too far out in front. Rooster jumped out of cattails. Man, I don't have video of this, but then we walked a little bit further, and Gus went into the cattails again. It's kind of like, he's running around, messing around in there, and I looked up and Chris was next to the cattails, and I asked him, I said, hey, what? I heard Gus stop, so what is he on? And Chris just kind of looked at me and said, I don't know. About that time, a rooster jumped out of the cattails, Chris couldn't find the safety on his gun. I don't know whether he's hunting with a SB3 too as well, and that my dad just recently gave him, so he hadn't used it too much. And then I pulled up that over under, and I'd been hunting with the SB3 all week and tried to turn the safety off on the wrong, like down by the trigger, and I was like, oh man, wrong gun. And then when I tried to pop it off safety, it wouldn't. I hit it, but it didn't go up, and it went sideways, and it switched barrels on it to where the barrel that shot first was the underneath barrel, and I usually shoot the over barrel first. And I don't know. I went to pull the trigger and nothing happened, and then I realized it's still on safety. So I took it off safe, pulled the trigger. By that time, it was too late. If I'd have had the other gun, there was no doubt in my mind I would have got that rooster. So we kept walking around the field, and we had a couple grouse or something, that we walked up on. Gus flushed, and at first it was two of them flew out. Thought it was like, I called hen, because it wasn't, when I first saw them fly up, I was like, it's two hens sitting together. And then like three more flew out, and I was like, oh man, that was stinking grouse. So, or something we could have shot. So we kept walking. Chris took a long shot at some geese. I thought he got a rooster, but because I heard him saying drop it. Now I will say this: Woodrow is the best shotgun shell hole retriever in the world. That sucker will pick them up and bring them to you. So if you ever shoot one and you don't know where it went, that little sucker will find it and bring it to you. He actually brought, Chris was trying, that's why he was telling him to drop. He had a shotgun shell. When we walked back by a place where someone had shot, and he picked one up and brought it back, and I zapped him to tell him, no, I don't want you picking up shotgun shells, because he's trying to eat them. And he couldn't let it go. Turned around, ran back. After we walked about 50 yards, turned around, ran back, and picked it up, and brought it to me. So, but another thing I learned with this particular walk is that if Gus goes into cattails, there's a reason, and he'll walk around them all day long. But if he smells something in there, he's going in there. And he walked. Chris, we were walking through this grass, and kind of goes around some cattails and then jets down and goes up towards a gate and then comes back around. So Chris went to walk the part that jets in between the cattails is just regular grass, and he went to walk that, and I was like, okay, and I just was like, I'm gonna stand here with Woodrow and wait for him to do that. And I was just standing there, and I saw Gus. He was running around doing his thing, and I was trying to keep him close and not let him get ahead. And then he took off and decided he was going to run up to run over to where Chris was. And okay, yeah, he can go over there and maybe he can point something for Chris. I was kind of paying attention, and he stopped, and he turned, and he ran into the cattails. And I was just sitting there watching Chris, looking at the cattails, and all of a sudden, 6 roosters come blowing out. That sucker got in there, and he found them. They came blowing out the front of the cattails. About just, I don't know, if I'd have been 20 yards closer, I could probably taken a shot. I probably should have taken a shot even where I was at. I might have got lucky. But that sucker, 6 of them flying out. If I would have just went over there and stood at the front of the cattails, I would have had I would have had at least 2 probably. Being that I had my over under, unless I would have been able to reload real quick, I would have had 2. But, and then further down another one, so we saw 7. In that one field, we saw 9 roosters. So they're there. There's a bunch of them there. It's just the corn was still standing. A lot of corn was still standing. They were in the process of taking it out. And we even drove by a field. They were actively taking it out. And the rooster flew across the road in front of us when we were driving in the same day. And then when we were going back home, we drove up on that field. They were done picking it. And that thing, I bet you there was a ton of birds sitting up in the trees around that field. There was one tree on the edge of the field, and I saw them fly up in there. It's like, dang, there's a rooster right there. There's a whole bunch of roosters in there. So once they pick it, they move and they go into the stuff that you can hunt. So, or it's easy to hunt with a small group. But we golly, the sun's bright. But yeah, so we went, I think we were planning on going back to that field the next day. But like I said, it was raining. So we just pretty much sat around and rested, which probably was a good thing because we jumped in the truck Saturday morning and 4 o'clock in the morning and drove all the way back to Texas, 18 hours straight. So it wasn't too bad. But that's pretty much what I learned from South Dakota this year. And I don't know what we're going to do next year yet. My dad was talking about going back to Kansas, but I kind of want to go back to South Dakota a little bit later. And like two or 3 weeks later, and just see what it's like when everything's picked, because we've never been up there when everything's picked. We've been up there when majority of stuff was picked, and we did pretty good. But it was before I started filming it and putting it on YouTube. But I figured I'd do it this way, a little bit different, and just put some clips in here instead of doing. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough to do one per day or anything like that, so like I wanted to do to get plenty of videos. But I don't know, like I said, I'm on my way into work down in Houston, and traffic is awesome, so I probably need to get off of this. But this weekend I leave and heading up to Missouri, go deer hunting. Not seeing much on the trail cameras on that one, but from up there I have access to the place I hunt on. The guy I hunt with up there, he gives me access to his trail cameras, so I can look at things. But hadn't been seeing much. He hadn't been seeing much, so I don't know what it's going to be like. It might end up being like it was last year, and not seeing too many deer, but we'll see. The rut should be starting here pretty quick. Hopefully, I'm getting up there at the right time, but we'll see. He's got plenty of does on camera, so you would think the rut starts, bucks come up there, bucks will be chasing does, so see what happens. But if you don't mind, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Oh. We seen a bunch of ducks flying 10 miles away.